we can learn a lot about the number one selling drug in the world. Now, I'm not going to tell people not to take this drug. I'm not going to tell people to take it. And I'm definitely not here to get in the middle of you and your doctor with this medication. But if I had this particular illness and needed this drug and I was told about this drug, I would want some additional information. And that's what I want to share with you today. This drug is projected to produce over $27 billion at the end of this year, 2024. And it's a cancer drug. And it's very unique in that it's creating a paradigm shift in oncology. Because what it does is it actually targets a very specific thing for certain types of cancer, not all of cancer. It's called precision medicine. So it's not a broad-based antibiotic or like chemotherapy. It's very targeted to this one thing. It releases the brakes on your own immune system. Cancer is always trying to evade your immune system. This specific drug is called Keytruda, which does something to block that mechanism and allows your own immune system to be able to tag and see where the cancer cells are so they can kill it. So that's one thing I really like about the strategy, is that you're getting your own immune system to do the work. It's like training this elite special forces to do a very specific job to attack a very specific invader, okay? They also use this drug for autoimmune diseases, infections, and cancer. You know, I like this strategy better if you have the type of cancer that this can help you with versus chemotherapy, which kills off cancer and your immune system. It pretty much wipes everything out. We're dealing with something called immunomodulation, okay? This is something that either increases or decreases or blocks your immune system. There are quite a few side effects. As I'm going to scroll down, you can see all the different side effects. There's many, so it doesn't come without its problems. Now, the other problem with this drug is that it doesn't work on all types of cancer. Cancer is very diverse. In other words, there's certain cancers that don't even have the specific pathway for this to deal with. And cancer has a super ability to also adapt. The cancer cells that are remaining from that insult, they become resistant, they become super strong, and they can go out of control. Similar to taking an antibiotic, these microbes resist that and they become stronger. Now you have these super bugs. Also, this drug does not address the fuel for the cancer, or it doesn't block the raw materials that it needs to build cancer cells, and the drug doesn't address the microenvironment where this cancer lives. I think an approach that uses multiple strategies at the same time just would be really smart if you have cancer. So the first question is there anything natural that is in an immunomodulator? And the answer is yes. There are a lot of different natural remedies that help to increase or decrease the immune system. In fact, this is how a lot of drug companies get their ideas and develop patents for various research in the area of plant chemicals. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's over 50% of all drugs are derivatives of something that came from nature. So we have astragalus. Okay, that's very potent. We have the reishi mushroom. There's also other types of mushrooms too that deal with cancer. And then of course you just have vitamin D in relationship to cancer. And think about what vitamin D does as in an immunomodulator. I mean, I personally take 20,000 IUs of vitamin D3 every single day, especially if someone's dealing with an autoimmunity type problem or inflammation. I would also address the diet. I would do things to avoid fueling the cancer cell. I would also do fasting, because that is the most powerful thing to help starve off cancer. And if you can't do prolonged fasting, you can do the fasting mimicking diet, okay, which is a bit easier. And you would do that for 5 days, once a month, maybe every 3 weeks. And also there's something that medicine doesn't really get into. It's the mindset. I personally know people who are very strong-willed. They're not going down with cancer. There's a reason why when the doctor says you have this amount of time to live, that there's a high correlation between the person only living that amount of time, because somehow that gets in your mind and you agree with it, and then all of a sudden that happens. But I think it's really, really important to disagree with cancer and basically say, I'm going to survive no matter what. I'm going to make it happen. There are also nutritional protocols to help starve cancer. And if you have not seen my video that I recently did, I cover all the protocols and what you need to do. And I put that video right here. Check it out. So today we're going to talk about how fasting has the potential to kill cancer cells. Now, if you have cancer and you're not fasting, you're making a very big mistake, because the power of fasting can create some serious damage to a cancer cell. Now, there's a very interesting study that I just read, I'll put a link down below, that was looking at certain genes that were either expressed or suppressed by doing a 30-day fasting program. And what this group of people did is they fasted only between dawn and sunset, roughly about 15 hours for only 30 days. Certain genes will turn on cancer and certain genes will turn off cancer. For example, like this gene right here suppresses tumor cells in the liver, the cervix, and the lung. It was increased or enhanced by 9 times. Here's another gene that normally suppresses liver cancer cells. It was enhanced by 14 times. Fasting has the ability to turn on cancer suppressor genes. It can also turn off, that means downregulate, genes that express cancer. Fasting also enhances something called the natural killer cells and the T killer cells. Both of these cells work in different parts of the immune system, and their job is to kill viruses and kill cancer cells. Fasting will increase both of them. Fasting also causes autophagy. Autophagy is a condition where your body is recycling old damaged proteins, like in the DNA or the mitochondria, and recycling them into new tissue. Well, it just so happens that cancer originates with damage to the DNA and damage to the mitochondria. So if you can clean that out, you can decrease the risk of cancer. The more autophagy you have, the less cancer you're going to have. And autophagy is stimulated by fasting. All right, number 5, fasting can increase resistance to chemotherapy. If you have cancer and you decide to do chemotherapy, well, guess what? A fast could help you resist the complications of chemo. Fascinating. So if you're going to fast, you want to try to fast as long as you can. But you also want to take nutrients as you fast. This is very, very important, because if you're fasting for a long period of time, and let's say you're already deficient in nutrients, that can seriously create a weakness within your immune system. Just to make sure, you want to take nutrients when you fast. As long as you're not taking any significant calories, you're going to get the benefit of fasting. And very soon, I'm going to release a video on probably one of the most amazing success stories that I've ever heard in my life. This should be the success story of the decade, where someone had stage 4 cancer and completely reversed it doing fasting. So stay tuned for that video coming up soon.